Hi friends, hope you're doing swell. Hello friends, I hope you're doing swell and welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, hi, my name is Alexis. I would love it if you stuck around. So we're back with the Not So Berry build challenge. If you haven't seen the other parts, I'll have those linked down below in my Not So Berry playlist. But basically we are building for each color of the generations and today we are on gray. So let's go ahead and go over to build mode and start building the house for today. Alrighty, so we're over in San Sequoia on this lot because I feel like it is so ideal and perfect. It's centrally located, you're next to the tram station, and also not too far away from the event center if I'm not mistaken. But I'm doing something a little bit different with this build. I want it to be more modern, which actually I'll read off what the gray generation is on the official rules and also what I want to include within my little trusty rules for this build challenge. Now I'll have the challenges for the other ones down below. I'm just kind of making them up as I go in reflection of the actual. I've always felt that you were different. While the rest of your family was busy messing around in the lab, you just wanted to be outside playing basketball. You're very good at sports and you dream of becoming a professional athlete. To make up for your non-existent relationship with your parents, you want to be there for your own children as much as possible. Oh, and you love to sing. So the traits are active, slob, and music lover. Aspiration is bodybuilder, and the career is an athlete. And like I said, I'll have the official legacy challenge rules down below. But for this house, I wanted to include 3 things like I've typically been doing with the other builds. So the color has to be gray or silver. So you're going to see a lot of that, but also in this build as well, you're going to see some hints of different colors like blue to kind of nod to that mid generation. But we're going to be seeing lots and lots of purple as well because our next generation, which is generation 5, is plum. So in some of the landscaping, I added some lavender. With some of the kitty stuff, I also added some purple. And then of course, within that plum room, we have gray, but we also have that lavender plum color just to kind of nod to that next generation. I have to include a home gym, a microphone of course, and then also a comfy living room for the family to kind of interact, play board games, watch cozy movies, and just kind of be all hands on deck with like family oriented. Because like they said within like the challenge rules, their Gillogen parents weren't really like involved. They were kind of too busy trying to go into space and connect with aliens, following the Strangerville as well, trying to defeat the mother plant, which we kind of sprinkled in that lore in the last one. So this sim is like all in on family time. So I want to make sure, even though the house was like very modern, kind of sterile on the outside with that gray and silver, it still had a lot of area for us to include some parenthood and some growing together to kind of bring in that family ambiance. But also the style, I want it to be athletic, family oriented, home, and also very modern. So with the landscaping, I did make it a little bit more manicured just because I feel like that fits the vibe and the feel of this generation. Even though they are family oriented, they still have some traits from the yellow generation, which if you don't remember, that yellow generation was very like particular and sterile. Everything had to be kind of neat and in order, and realistically you will adopt some of your like traits from your parents. So I want to kind of nod to that generation as well. But right now I'm just doing the backyard. I want to have quite a bit of places for them to kind of cook, hang out, have family over, and do a lot of family oriented things. Even though this lot is a little bit smaller, I want to ensure we do have some things for our Sims to actually do family things with. So with our plum generation, I did go ahead and change that swing set from Businesses and Hobbies to just like a purple and kind of rainbow colored one. But as you can see as well, I'm adding some of those purple flowers around just to nod to the plum generation. And then going back over, I'm trying to figure out what my modern style is. Now I do use a lot of eco lifestyle on like our windows and our doors and our flooring, just because when you actually search modern within the library, that's a lot of the things that kind of come up. And then also when I was doing a little bit of research over on Pinterest, that was kind of the style as well. So right now I'm just ensuring that we have enough bathrooms for our Sims because we do have twins for the plum generation. And then also I wanted to make sure we had like a private bathroom as well for like our little at-home gym situation, since our grade gen sim is very into athletics. They're a bodybuilder and they're always in the gym, so we have that home gym, a little area for them to also just like shower off and then be the super mom that they are. So I'm just going and kind of finding what's the best modern style. Now I do use a lot of Growing Together because it also came up as modern, and I feel like it fits perfectly with like that parenthood aesthetic as well as that eco lifestyle. And I'm trying to make sure that I keep it pretty much gray on the basics, but I do add some elements of gold because I love mixing silver and gold. So you're going to see a lot of that within this house as well. And I'm going in with some of these base game curtains, which honestly look really good on those eco lifestyle windows. And then going back to the other bathroom, this is where the parents share as well as the twins. So this bathroom is probably very chaotic, but I was just trying to figure out the best layout because we might need a tub, especially if you start playing with like toddlers. In my mind, this family already has like children, so they can use showers, but usually if you have like pets or toddlers, you do need to have a bath within your setup just so they can actually bathe them. And then I didn't add any windows in this bathroom because they have such incredible like ceiling. So this little area within the house is actually glass ceiling, and it kind of reflects as well within that bathroom, and I feel like it's just so luxurious and modern and just fancy. But going over into the home gym, it's very tight and quaint, but I feel like when they're just trying to get a quick workout in, they can come over here and have their own little personal gym. So I'm adding some stuff from Spa Day as well as Love Struck, just some clutter to give it a little bit more personality. I did really want to use these folding chairs. I don't know, I think the folding chairs are really cute, so I'm adding that and that gray swatch as well, and just going through like City Living, Discover University, and all the packs that typically have some of the athletic stuff, just to kind of give the gym a little bit more personality. Now going into the parents' room, I didn't want to do just like that stark white, gray, silver, so I do add a few elements of color just because our sim, they probably are not married to someone who also believes in like the whole gray and silver aesthetic, so I'm trickling in some different colors as well, just to kind of nod to their spouse. But I'm adding a lot of little picture frames from Growing Together. Since our sim is very family oriented, they probably take a ton of pictures with their family, so I added some of those collages all around, so when you take pictures in the game, you can actually add those to the little photo album. I can't think of the word right now, but you can add those within game. And then also, of course, giving our sim a microphone because they love to like sing and practice comedy, whatever our sim desires. Now going into this open floor concept of the kitchen, I'm adding a lot of Dream Home Decorator just because it also came up as modern. And then I'm gonna go in, of course, and like update the swatches on the, oh, I didn't. I thought I did update the swatches on the top, but that kind of like grayish brown, I'm trying to kind of trickle within the house just to kind of give it a little bit more life so it's not completely sterile. And then I am going in and adding some more elements of purple. So this is like the kids' computer room where they can go in and like do their homework, they can knit, they can have some fun cozy hobbies, because I was looking a little bit at Plum Generation and they are kind of all over the place. They have different things that they want to do and try, so I try to make sure I reflect that as well within some of the clutter items that I do add within this build. Then I don't know if you actually saw it, I had a cheer bat outside because if you didn't know, the Plum Generation also is very into like dancing, and I'm sure that their parents, being like that athletic background, kind of taught them how to like cheer and do backflips and all that good stuff. And now I'm just going through Parenthood because they have such cozy items to add to kind of get that family oriented vibe that our grade generation has. So I'm adding some of those clutter bits like the chore wheel and other little items to just kind of give it that clutter family vibe, and also some board games as well. And then I'm going in with some elements of Growing Together. Honestly, I feel like those two packs could have been combined. There's a few packs nowadays that I feel like could just be combined into one like huge pack, but I wanted to make sure that I incorporated some Growing Together as well, since we have like the infants and all that good stuff that came with that pack. So I'm just going in with Growing Together and Parenthood, adding some school projects rugs into decor pieces, and also adding a chess table so our sim has that logic, which I feel like is so beneficial with all of your Sims builds. Now, I don't know if you saw it, I actually added like a little sneaky fireplace over there because the room just felt so much more cozy with it. And now I'm trying to figure out some of the decor pieces, so I wanted to add some like cats and dog stuff as well, and then of course a lovely bookcase. And then I was going and trying to see what kind of wallpaper might look the best, and honestly this plain white looked the best with kind of the style and the feel of the house, because some of it was just a little too decorated and ornate. And then I also was placing some things on the windows with an eco lifestyle, because some of them do have like a little slot point vantage, but I did have to go in with the 9 key and just add some little more clutter bits like some flowers and some plants and just some little toys as well. But going into our Plumjin's room, we still have that kind of gray flooring, but I did want to incorporate gray and purple, so this wallpaper from Realm of Magic is perfect for that. Now I'm just going in through all the packs that I feel like has the best clutter and just trying to give our Sims a little bit more personality and a lot of things that they can both be creative in. Now you can decide which one you want to be the heir, but I wanted to design it where we have a Sim that was really into like dancing and art and just very like artistic, but then we have a very athletic Sim as well that's into cheer and dance and singing. And I feel like you can honestly play both of them within this challenge generation. But some of these things I've noticed don't have really good slot point advantages, so I'm so glad that I actually learned that shift 9 key, because it helps with like alt placing and actually giving the house a little bit more personality. But this is what the house turned out like. I think it looks so pretty. I'm just adding some terrain paint right now because my terrain paint actually glitched, so I had to go back in at the end and put it on there before I added it to the gallery. But I'm so happy with the way this house turned out. For today's video, friends, if you did miss just fun things, like give it a big old like and subscribe down below if you haven't already, as well as press that bell notification so you can be notified each and every time that I post. And until next time, friends, I hope you are doing swell, and I'll see you very soon. Bye.